is within ourselves. But these institutions are so corrupted, are so powerful, that you just have to give yourself a chance and sit down for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. I mean, just sit down for a week and profoundly investigate. And you will find that everything is related. And the decadence we're living today, which, by the way, is very funny, because here in Brandon, nobody looks to understand what's going on, because here in Brandon we live like in a bubble of economic goodness, right? So everybody is kind of happy here. But if you investigate, you find the relation between NATO attacking North Africa and the Catholic Church abusing children and the Queen of England abducting children for satanic rituals, which is proven, even though some people is going to get very upset about the idea, and the Catholic Church abusing and killing children in the residential school system of Canada, or the drug cartels killing people in Mexico. Everything of this decadence in the planet is connected. Everything. So my next awakening through this project, it's all about all my findings. The new drawings, they have a lot of symbols. And all the symbols, in all the symbols you can find what I have found myself through my research, how all the good things are connected. I'm not expressing the bad things anymore. I'm expressing the good things. Like the magic we have in ourselves. Magic do exist. We have been taught for centuries that magic doesn't exist. But science was alchemy before. And before alchemy it was Christ and Buddha and Mohammed performing miraculous things, right? So the symbols in my new drawings are about that. To try to explain to people that within ourselves is God right here, ready to wake us up and be ready for the new era, which is not darkness. It's all about light. But all this government, which I call the New World Order, and it's not my terminology, it's a terminology that they invented themselves back in the 80s. The New World Order is trying to annihilate this right that we have as humans to go toward light. That's why there's so much darkness right now, right before 2012, which by the way is not a myth. It's reality. You just have to investigate a little. Not Hollywood thing, but a real investigation. So we are going toward light, and that's why my project is called The Next Awakening.
All right, and it's a really great series. I've seen a lot of those works that you posted on Facebook.
Yes.
And they're among some of my favorite works of all time.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have time to talk about this, but some of the other subject matter on that series, it's a bit more specific rather than others. Like some of them are more forms, pure geometric shapes.
Yes.
Which you invoke a lot of primal eroticism.
Yes.
The other ones are more explicit subject matter, and I was struck by one of them particularly, and it was the scene of Hitler's suicide.
Yes.
And Christ is in the work as well.
That belongs to the last project that I made in 2005. And by the way, this last project was made by or through a grant that the Manitoba Council gave me, a major grant that year. So I did travel to Germany and Poland to gain all this knowledge about the Jewish Holocaust. But that is still, that project is right in the transition between my dark stage and this new way, which is very interesting. Now, the geometry. The geometry is all about magic. In my first drawing from The Next Awakening, you can see hexagons. The hexagon is one of the perfect, what is called sacred geometry. You can find hexagons everywhere, in molecular structures, as small as a molecular structure, or as big as the North Pole of planet Saturn. I don't know what it means. I'm investigating about it. But in my findings, I thought it was necessary to express this sacred geometry in my drawings. Now, the entire series, every drawing, the link between every single one of them is the vortex. Why? Because I totally believe that there are interdimensional vortexes opening right now, as they opened in the past 10,000 or 20,000 years ago. Because, by the way, they have found that all civilizations like the Mayans, the Teotihuacans, the Egyptians, and many others, 20,000 years older than mainstream archaeology believes. And now, eroticism and sexuality. Again, it's about magic. In my old stage, it was about my obsession about sex, openly. But I understood that obsession, it was part of learning in which I understood that sexuality is all about the sacred feminine and the sacred relationship between the human intercourse and the entire connection with the universe, with God. And the religions, today religions like Catholic Church, Christianity, Judaism and Muslim religion, they all suppress sexuality. Why? The only reason why is very simple. They want to keep that power for themselves. Sexuality is not about, it's not bad. We should teach sexuality to our kids since they are in the cradle. But it's immoral, it's illegal. You cannot talk about to your kids about sex when they are too small, because otherwise family services come and take them away for foster care for the rest of their lives, which, by the way, is a systematic plan to destroy families and drug our kids. So they will be incapable to wake up, because since 10 years ago, the new generation of kids are what they call crystal kids. And again, unfortunately, we have no time, but if you are a little curious, just go to the internet and look about crystal kids, or before the crystal kids were the
Indigo.
Oh yes, the indigo children. So research about indigo children, and you will find that family services here in Manitoba and in the rest of Canada and the Commonwealth in planet Earth, England and some other countries, family services system works only to take away the kids from their families and destroy this super moral unity of society.
Where's the future for Juan Zavaleta and his art?
I am planning to do a new project, what is fascinating. I haven't finished my next awakening project. I still have probably 10 drawings to do, so I will be very busy in the winter. I hope that I will be able to start selling my work so I can have a better financial situation in my life. And secondly, find more research. I would like to go to Egypt. I would like to go back to Mexico, to the Mayan Peninsula. I would like to go to South America to try the ayahuasca, which, by the way, is one of the sacred natural drugs to have connection with God.
Yes.
And the United Nations is banning the use of ayahuasca, which obviously it has to do with this New World Order attempt to stop our awakening. Just one last word about the ayahuasca, because it just came to my mind. At the same time, a Canadian mining corporation just bought this sacred land in the central Mexico area, super sacred for the Huicholes. That area is where peyote grows, and it's so sacred that it's compared with the Vatican for Catholics. Just imagine super machines and a group of 2,000 miners just destroying the Vatican. It's just the very same thing.
Making it an open pit.
Yeah. And the Mexican government and the Canadian government are just doing it. They just don't care. They haven't begun yet. There are protests in Mexico and here in Canada. But just imagine the corruption between our two governments. And I have relatives and friends that they say, how you dare to speak bad things about the country that received you as a new son? And I said, well, precisely. I can say openly that I am one of the best siblings, the best sons and daughters that Canada can have, because I speak the truth, despite whatever thing. And I love my countries. I am Mexican-Canadian, and I'm dual citizen. So I love my countries, but I hate my governments. Simple as that.
I want to thank you very much for this interview. It's been very interesting talking to you. I could probably talk for hours about this.
Thank you very much. And you can find me in Facebook just as Juan Zavaleta. You can find me in Twitter. You can find me in the telephone guide. I mean, as Zavaleta with a Z. And in regarding of all these things, my art and my life as a political activist, I'm very open to speak.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with controversial and provocative artist and activist Juan Zavaleta. I wish to thank Juan for all his time participating in the episode. Juan had also volunteered some narration earlier on in the series, and that I am very grateful to have had. I also want to thank again executive producer of the Westman Immigrant Experience, Jill Ferguson, for the technical help and for the creation of this documentary series. We have now completed 14 installments of our 16-episode series. The next and last two